Mary had a little man.
The fourth, we believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe it.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Louisiana has become the first state to require the Ten Commandments be displayed in public classrooms, from kindergarten to publicly funded universities.
If you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
Governor Jeff Landry signing the bill, which requires a poster-sized display or framed document of the Ten Commandments to be installed by January. Landry says the law isn't just for religious reasons, but also for, quote, common cultural heritage.
I hope and I pray that Louisiana is the first state to allow moral code to be placed back in the classrooms.
Critics argue the law violates the separation of church and state.
We learned the Ten Commandments. We went to Sunday school. And as I said on the Senate floor, if you want your kids to learn the Ten Commandments, you can take them to church.
The ACLU plans to sue, arguing this law will make kids of different religious beliefs feel unsafe, saying politicians have no business imposing their preferred religious doctrine on students and families in public schools. Under the law, the state funds won't be used for the commandment displays. They'll be paid for by donations. Similar bills have been proposed in other states, but ran into legal challenges. Decades ago, the Supreme Court struck down a similar law in Kentucky, but now, if challenged, this Louisiana law will go before a more conservative Supreme Court.
I am the chosen one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all confused now. Which is the religion? Which one is it? If you're going to go with Moses and the Ten Commandments, congratulations. We're all Jews now. How does that feel, baby? You like it? Are you in it? Holy crap. Haven't we had this argument before? I mean, didn't we all have this fight before? Didn't we? And wasn't the Supreme Court like church and state need to be separate? I'll separate you. Because you had to protect both. Church and state is separated for the preservation of both. Wasn't that the conclusion? Wasn't that what we actually, thought about America for the longest time? And why is it that the people that always want the Ten Commandments up in schools are the people who find it the hardest to follow those rules? Why is it? And, there's more than 10 commandments. Do you know that? And if we're going to do a Moses thing, then we are all Jewish, because this was so before Jesus. It was like 3,000 years before. Okay, really, Moses lived like I don't know. It depends. And they're saying, oh, it's a historical document. That's why we want it. It's historical. I'm like, oh yeah, what year was that? You want to do the history of it? Okay, what year was? Because no one knows. No one knows. I mean, it's all such crap. It's just such garbage. It's all just, to make Sharia law, the version of, what the Saudis have, make it happen here is what it is. I really, honestly, I don't understand it. Moses is an Old Testament guy. You guys out there that, the Pentecostals and the evangelicals and the Baptists and the Southern ones and the Northern ones and the Eastern ones and the Western ones, you're all about the New Testament. You're all about that new stuff. It's like, why would you want to even go back to the old? You know what the rules are? Do you understand what they are that you want to put up on the wall for your kids to, see as a historical document when you don't know what date it was? So basically, the Ten Commandments are like, no one brings cash to the temple and don't be a schmuck is basically what it is. I don't, and don't covet your neighbor's ass. So ask any of the old people older than me even, ask them, people who went to school like before 1954. That would not be me. But ask old people, okay? Whether or not, they benefited from having the Ten Commandments in their classroom, whether or not that was, something that guided their principles all throughout their, because I'm going to say no. I'm going to say it doesn't. But, this isn't, posting the Ten Commandments is now mandatory in Louisiana. Now, what's interesting is I don't know what language they're going to post it in. I'm going to guess it's not going to be the original Hebrew. I'm just going to guess that. But that, if you were going to do the historical document, that's what you would have to post. You would have to put it up there in good old-fashioned Hebrew, and everybody was going to have to learn that letters and numbers have do a whole study of it. But honestly, it won't be in Hebrew, and I don't think it'd be into the translated Greek. I'm guessing somewhere along the line it got translated into English. I don't know. I left off at Hebrew. So, you're going to have to tell me about your version of it because it makes no sense to me, really. It doesn't. But here's the thing. Louisiana is just about the worst. I mean, Mississippi exists just so that Louisiana isn't too embarrassed. But Louisiana is just about the last state in the United States for education, meaning reading, writing, and arithmetic. You would think that they would be much more interested in having kids be able to read the Ten Commandments than people posting posters of the Ten Commandments and having courts get involved in the posting of it. The posting. That's what's important. Not the actual reading or the analysis. I mean, for all we know, you could put up you could put up Section 18 of the U.S. Criminal Code, right? Because they're like, how are you going to get kids to respect the law if you don't start with Moses and the lawgivers? How about put up the U.S. Criminal Code? How about do that, right? And then next to it, have pictures of people who have violated that criminal code and the consequences they suffered. Because that's one way. That's just one way. It's just my version of how you get people to respect the law. Like make examples of people who broke it, and you teach them there's consequences for, cheating at elections. There's consequences for stealing documents. There just are. But no, they want to go back to the Ten Commandments, to Moses, it's just so interesting that the people who spend all this time trying to post the Ten Commandments are the people who have the least amount of time to observe the Ten Commandments. So let me do you a favor. If you're not clear, if you're not sure about what it is now that has to change in Louisiana, first of all, everybody's now Jewish, okay? Because the law was given to Moses. In fact, the whole Torah was, given to Moses. And so the whole Pentateuch, right, the whole first 5 books of your, sacred thing is really, it's all about Moses. Moses was dictated by God, okay? And it was very pre-Jesus, so Jesus is not a factor in any of this, not at all, okay? And in fact, when they say there is no God, before me, I don't know how you're going to, rationalize that to the kids. I don't know how you're going to explain it, but you'll find a way. I'm sure you will. Anyway, here's the things you need to know. The Jewish rules. What are they? Okay, so here's a rule of thumb, okay? And because it's easy breezy Judaism, because you could ask 2 Jews any question and you will get 3 opinions. That's just the way it is, and that's why we like it so much. There's a lot of room for discussion. However, the things in the Ten Commandments, not really much room for discussion. So, the Sabbath has to be kept holy. You know that, right? It's one of those top 10. So please write this down. The Sabbath is not Sunday. No, the Sabbath is Saturday. And it starts on Friday night. Please make a note of it. Please jot it down and, plan your calendars accordingly. You cannot covet your neighbor's ass, even if it's J-Lo that you live next door from. No, seriously, you can't covet. You can't be jealous. You can't have that feeling. And kindness is right up there too. So can't be a Republican, I guess. I don't know. This could be good. It could work out. No pork, okay? If you're going to go all the way, there's 631 commandments, okay? There really are. There's 631. Has a very specific sort of a discussion about 631, the number itself and why they're, but just know this, no pork, okay? Can't have it, can't do it, no ribs for you, no nothing like that. And again, I think the top commandment, don't be a schmuck. Please write it down, please. Congratulations. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.